Hello and welcome to your go-to source for the latest and most important updates in UK visa and immigration developments. In this week's coverage from July 21st to July 28, 2025, one major change dominates the headlines. Whether you currently hold a visa, are planning to apply, or are a UK-based employer, the landscape has just shifted dramatically, with new rules now officially in place. On July 22nd, a new statement of changes to the UK immigration rules came into force. These are not small adjustments. They mark the first significant reforms introduced as part of the government's major immigration white paper released earlier this year. The goal of this reform is to support economic growth while simultaneously reducing overall net migration. So, what does this mean for you? In the next few minutes, we'll unpack these critical changes and explain how they could impact you, your family, or your business. The biggest and most far reaching update involves the skilled worker visa route, which has undergone a complete transformation. As of July 22nd, the UK Home Office has made it much more difficult to qualify under this route, with two major areas of change: skill level and salary thresholds. According to the government's official report, around 180 occupations will no longer be eligible for sponsorship. Other estimates put that figure closer to 111. This reform is set to significantly affect sectors such as hospitality, logistics, manufacturing, and construction, which previously relied on hiring for positions below the degree level. For those currently holding a skilled worker visa, it's essential not to panic. If you were sponsored before July 22nd, 2025, you are protected under transitional arrangements. This means you can still extend your visa, switch employers within eligible job categories, and even apply for indefinite leave to remain (ILR), even if your job doesn't meet the new RQF Level 6 skill requirement. These transitional measures are designed to ensure that individuals already contributing to the UK workforce are not penalized unfairly by the new rules. However, when it comes to the salary threshold, there is significantly less flexibility. The changes here are sweeping and affect almost every applicant, including those applying for visa extensions. The standard annual salary requirement for skilled workers, known as option, has increased from £38,700 to £41,700 for applicants who hold a relevant PhD option B. The minimum salary has been raised to £37,500 for new entrants or those working in STEM fields or shortage occupations option C, D, and E. The minimum salary is now £33,400. Additionally, a new absolute minimum hourly rate of £17.13 has been introduced, which applies to all skilled worker roles, regardless of salary band. Employers are only allowed to count the first 48 hours worked per week toward meeting the annual salary requirement, a measure aimed at preventing exploitation through excessive working hours. What's even more critical to understand is that these updated salary thresholds will also apply to individuals applying for indefinite leave to remain (ILR) after July 22nd. Unlike the skill level changes, there is no transitional relief for salary increases. These adjustments don't just affect the skilled worker route, they also extend to other visa categories. For example, under the Global Business Mobility route, the minimum salary for senior or specialist workers has increased from £48,500 to £52,500. Meanwhile, the minimum salary for scale-up visa holders has risen to £39,100. So, what are the broader implications of these changes? For employers, the cost and complexity of hiring foreign workers have increased considerably. They must now revisit their recruitment strategies and budgets to adapt to the new requirements. For new applicants, the number of qualifying job roles has decreased, and meeting the financial criteria has become far more difficult. In summary, the UK's immigration system undergoing a major transformation. These new rules mark a turning point and will have long-lasting impacts on workers, families, students, and employers alike. Staying informed and proactive will be key to navigating this new immigration landscape. Spotlight on the care sector. A door has now closed. For many years, the UK has depended heavily on international workers to fill urgent gaps in social care. But this week marks a turning point, one that brings a chapter to an abrupt end. For new applicants, as of July 22, 2025, the UK government has officially shut down entry clearance applications for both care workers and senior care workers. This change effectively means that care providers in the UK can no longer hire new staff from abroad for these roles. It's one of the most direct and impactful policy decisions aimed at cutting net migration numbers. However, it's important to note that there is still a transitional period in place. The new rules continue to allow for in-country switching under specific conditions. Individuals already present in the UK on other types of visas can still be sponsored as care workers as long as they meet the requirements. This option remains open until July 22, 2028, provided the individual has been lawfully employed by the sponsoring care provider for a minimum of 3 months prior to the issuance of the certificate of sponsorship. For those who are already in the UK on a health and care worker visa and working as carers, the salary criteria remain separate. They are still required to earn a minimum of £25,000 per year or follow the national pay scale for their role, whichever figure is higher. One more significant update concerns dependents. Under the RQF 3 to 5 roles, which are now part of a temporary and time-limited shortage occupation list, newly sponsored workers can no longer bring dependents with them. However, individuals who were already in the care route before the dependent restriction came into effect in March 2024 can continue to bring family members and renew their visas accordingly. The government's message is unmistakably clear. The long-term sustainability of the social care sector must now come from within the domestic workforce. For now, the path is closed to new care workers from overseas. Moving beyond the rule changes introduced on July 22nd, another area drawing considerable attention is family visas. For months, many families have been burdened by the minimum income requirement (MIR), which was raised to £29,000 in April 2024. Although there were no fresh legal amendments this week, a powerful new report is influencing public debate. On June 10, 2025, the Migration Advisory Committee (MAC), the independent advisory body to the UK government, released its review of the family visa income threshold. In its findings, the MAC strongly opposed the earlier proposal to align the family visa income requirement with the skilled worker salary threshold of £38,700, stating that family migration and economic migration serve very different goals. Instead, the MAC suggested a revised range of £24,000 to £28,000 as a more appropriate income threshold for sponsoring a partner under the family route. This proposed range is not only below the government's previously planned figure, but also under the current £29,000 requirement. It's vital to recognize that this is only a recommendation at this stage. No formal action has been taken, and the government has yet to respond or implement changes based on MAC's advice. Still, it offers a meaningful glimpse into the direction that future immigration policy may take. According to the government's own white paper, a new framework for family visas is expected to be presented to Parliament before the end of 2025, suggesting a decision may be on the horizon. Until then, the income threshold remains at £29,000 for all new applicants. Turning to another critical topic: students, graduates, and the long-term path to settlement in the UK, we find proposals that, while not yet enacted, are raising concerns. The policy updates that came into effect on July 22nd did not directly target international students. However, the May 2025 Immigration White Paper outlined several proposals that have become hotly debated. At this point, it's crucial to emphasize that these are only suggestions, not law. Among the proposals are two particularly significant ones: reducing the graduate visa duration from 2 years to 18 months, and extending the qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain (ILR) from 5 years to 10 years. Although these changes have not been implemented, they signal a clear shift in the government's long-term immigration intentions. On a more practical level, one actual update this week came in the form of a revision to the UK visa processing time guidance on July 21st and 22nd. The gov.uk website now offers a new online tool to help applicants better estimate when they can expect decisions on their cases. Current standard processing times remain approximately 3 weeks for work or study visa applications from outside the UK, 8 weeks for in-country applications, and up to 6 months for settlement cases. In summary, this week has brought some of the most significant changes to UK immigration in recent memory. The path to obtaining a skilled worker visa has become narrower, with higher skill and salary thresholds now in force. While transitional protections remain for those already in the system, it's clear that the government aims to prioritize highly skilled, well-paid roles moving forward. Meanwhile, overseas recruitment for care workers has been officially shut down for new applicants, marking a pivotal shift in policy. And although the family visa income requirement holds steady for now, the recent MAC review could reshape it. In the near future, these are deeply complex changes with broad consequences across multiple immigration categories. What do you think about this evolving immigration landscape? Are these changes justified, or do they raise concerns for workers, families, and employers? Share your thoughts in the comments. I try to read and reply to as many as I can. If you found this video informative, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage on UK immigration updates. Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Immigration law is complicated and constantly evolving. Always consult a qualified immigration advisor to understand how the rules apply to your personal situation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.